such as China. Let's talk all about these developments. Joining me right now, Democratic Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland from Washington State. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you're a member of the House Armed Services Committee, obviously focusing on readiness of military personnel, which is something that is extremely current. Of course, Zelensky's address to Congress was stirring, and it was passionate. You know, he's making this plea to Germany, as of this morning, the UK, Canada. Is he moving the needle at all?
You know, I would say that President Zelensky is doing exactly what he is supposed to do. He is standing up for his country. He is talking to allies. He is trying to get as much support as he can, with the understanding that the United States is not going to declare a no-fly zone because of the possibility of it even escalating things further. And I think what's interesting, too, is that, you know, as he's making these pleas, we are paying very close attention to what he is saying. He showed a very dramatic and emotional video yesterday, which showed the damage happening to children, to civilians in Ukraine. And, you know, Vladimir Putin is a war criminal. And you are noticing that his rhetoric is becoming more dramatic and more heightened. And there is a saying, a hit dog hollers. And because I believe that Putin understands that the world is united against him, NATO allies are united against him, we are sending equipment, we are sending aid, we are sending humanitarian assistance to Ukraine. We are united and we stand with the Ukrainian people.
But Zelensky's speech, as you mentioned, you know, that graphic video and some of the past times here in America, the tragedies that we've seen, Pearl Harbor to 9/11, it really touches on every generation. But was that speech more than just a viral moment? Could it be one that actually whets Americans' appetite for getting into combat?
You know, I think that depends on who you ask. We just pulled out of Afghanistan, and we do not want to put U.S. troops on the front lines in harm's way. But understand, there is a large military buildup in Poland and in Europe. And so we are doing our part as strong allies. We're going to send them equipment. You heard about what President Biden approved just yesterday. Congress approved last week a lot of opportunities for more weapons, more arms, and more ways for Ukrainians to defend themselves.
Chairman Meeks speaking following Zelensky's address, really just saying that money should never be a part of this discussion. It shouldn't be an issue here. But where are the billions of dollars in aid actually coming from to assist Ukraine?
They are just coming from funds that we have here, you know, in the United States. They are coming from our defense budget. They are just coming from places where we know if we have these types of emergency, we have to step up. And Chairman Meeks is correct. What's happening right now is Russia has invaded a sovereign nation. Democracy is on the line, and this is about a world order that President Putin is trying to change. He is trying to go back and reconstitute the USSR. He is choosing communism over democracy and capitalism. And so we have a responsibility to do our part, but at the same time, President Biden has to walk a very fine line. We want to stand with our ally, Ukraine. You see that President Zelensky is going to all the allies right now, trying to get as much help as possible. At the same time, you know, we want to make sure that we are not putting our U.S. shoulders in harm's way.
What will President Biden bring to the table when he meets with NATO next week?
You know, I'm not sure. I think that, you know, obviously whenever we meet with NATO and our allies, we talk about the situation. Our desire is always for the war to end and the violence to stop. But at the same time, we have to continue to strengthen our resolve and let the Ukrainian people know that we stand with them. The entire world is now with Ukraine. You know, President Putin has inadvertently united people against his country and against what he has done. And I think one thing's important here, you know, this is the act of a war criminal, and people in Russia now are starting to protest, and you hear them saying they want this to end as well. And so it'll be interesting to see, you know, what happens as our president meets with NATO. But we stand united, our resolve is strong, and again, we are with the Ukrainian people.
Representative Strickland, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.